In the dead of night, under a moonless sky, something momentous occurred. Unmarked planes, their transponders silent, cut through the darkness. They landed on secluded airstrips, far from prying eyes. Their cargo? Not weapons, not personnel, but gold. Tons of it, an unprecedented quantity of the precious metal spirited into the nation's deepest vaults. This isn't a rumor from the fringes. This is a carefully guarded secret, now beginning to bleed into the light. The United States has just executed a massive clandestine gold import. The silence surrounding this operation is as heavy as the bullion itself, a silence that screams of immense significance and hidden agendas. Why the secrecy? Why this sudden, voracious appetite for gold? These are the questions that demand answers, questions that send a shiver down the spine of anyone watching the global stage. Gold has always been more than just a shiny metal. It is the bedrock of economies, the ultimate safe haven in times of turmoil. When nations begin to hoard gold, especially on this scale, it signals a profound unease, a preparation for storms yet to break. This isn't a routine financial transaction. This is a strategic maneuver, a silent declaration that the rules of the game might be about to change and change drastically. The world watches, or rather it watch, if it knew the full extent of this golden gambit. The sheer volume of this import is staggering. We're not talking about a few extra bars to top up reserves. We're talking about a quantity that could alter fiscal landscapes, a hoard that speaks of an anticipation of truly cataclysmic events. Financial analysts are scrambling, trying to piece together the whispers and the anomalies in global gold movements. The official channels, of course, remain mute, but the absence of denial is, in itself, a chilling form of confirmation. This move is a tectonic shift, happening beneath our feet, and the tremors are only just beginning to be felt by those who know where to listen. This isn't just about economics, it's about power, it's about security, it's about a nation battening down the hatches in the face of an uncertain and potentially hostile future. The implications stretch far beyond Wall Street, reaching into the heart of international relations and global stability. Every ounce of that newly acquired gold carries the weight of unspoken fears and unarticulated strategies. What does the United States know that the rest of the world doesn't? Or more terrifyingly, what is it preparing for that it expects the rest of us to soon discover in the harshest possible way? The silence is a warning. The timing of this colossal gold acquisition is particularly alarming. Global tensions are already at a fever pitch. New alliances are forming, old enmities are resurfacing, and the rhetoric of conflict is escalating daily. In such a volatile environment, a massive gold import by a superpower like the United States cannot be dismissed as mere fiscal prudence. It suggests a deeper, more unsettling strategy. Is the nation preparing for an economic shockwave? Perhaps a currency collapse or a deliberate move to de-dollarize the global economy by other powers, forcing the United States to shore up its own foundations with tangible assets? The questions multiply with every passing hour. One theory gaining traction in hushed circles is that this gold is a war chest, not just a financial safety net, but a resource to fund prolonged conflict, or to stabilize the home front if global trade routes are catastrophically disrupted. Wars are ruinously expensive, and fiat currencies can become fragile under extreme pressure. Gold, however, retains its intrinsic value. It is the currency of last resort, the silent guarantor of national resilience. The sheer scale of this import points towards a preparation for a scenario far beyond regional skirmishes. It hints at a readiness for a confrontation of a global magnitude, a struggle that could redefine the world order. Another possibility is a strategic play against economic adversaries. By cornering a significant portion of the available gold supply, the United States could be aiming to exert pressure, to dictate terms in a new economic Cold War. Control over gold means control over financial stability. In a world increasingly fragmented where trust in traditional financial systems is eroding, physical gold becomes a powerful lever. This move could be a preemptive strike, designed to fortify the American economy against financial attacks, or the weaponization of currencies by rival nations. It's a high-stakes chess game, played with bars of bullion instead of missiles, at least for now. Ultimately, the why now and why so much remains shrouded in official secrecy, fueling speculation and anxiety. Is it a defensive measure, a sign of vulnerability, or is it an offensive play, a signal of intent? Perhaps it is both. What is undeniable is that such a monumental undertaking, conducted with such stealth, indicates that the highest levels of power foresee challenges on the horizon that are extraordinary in their potential scope and impact. The quiet accumulation of gold speaks volumes about a future they are bracing for, a future that looks increasingly precarious for us all. History provides unsettling parallels to this sudden, massive accumulation of gold. Throughout the ages, nations on the cusp of major upheaval, particularly large-scale conflicts, have often made desperate efforts to secure their gold reserves. In the years leading up to World War II, countries across Europe engaged in a frantic scramble for gold, moving it, hiding it, trying to keep it out of enemy hands. Gold was not just wealth, it was the lifeblood of war efforts, the means to procure essential resources when all else failed. The echoes of those desperate times are now reverberating with this new, secretive American hoard. Consider the Roman Empire, which meticulously accumulated gold to fund its legions and maintain its vast territories. Or Spain, during its colonial era, shipping galleons laden with New World gold to finance its European wars. These historical precedents are not mere academic footnotes, they are stark reminders of gold's enduring role in the calculus of power and conflict. The pattern is consistent: when the drums of war begin to beat, or when empires sense their foundations trembling, gold becomes the ultimate security. This recent US action therefore cannot be viewed in isolation. It fits a historical template that is deeply troubling. The Cold War also saw its share of gold-related intrigue, with both the United States and the Soviet Union viewing their reserves as critical components of their geopolitical strength. While the threat then was nuclear annihilation, the underlying principle was the same. Economic stability, underwritten by gold, was essential to sustaining a prolonged global confrontation. Today's geopolitical landscape is different, more multipolar, perhaps even more unpredictable. Yet the instinct to revert to gold in times of extreme uncertainty appears to be a constant in human and national behavior. This massive import feels like a return to that elemental understanding of risk. This is not to say that history repeats itself exactly, but the patterns are too significant to ignore. The clandestine nature of this gold movement, combined with its sheer scale, suggests a level of foresight and concern within the United States establishment that is far beyond the ordinary. They are looking at the current global chessboard, with its myriad flashpoints and rising animosities, and they are making a move. A move that history teaches us is often a prelude to periods of profound instability and conflict. The silence surrounding the gold is the silence before the storm, a quiet acknowledgement of dangerous historical precedents. The implications of this secret gold importation are profound and deeply unsettling for global stability. If the United States, one of the world's foremost economic and military powers, is making such a drastic move, it signals an anticipation of severe disruptions to the existing world order. This could manifest as a full-blown economic collapse, far exceeding the crises of recent memory, or it could be the precursor to a military conflict of unimaginable scale. The very act of preparing for such eventualities can paradoxically make them more likely, as other nations react to perceived threats and escalate their own preparations. Geopolitically, this gold maneuver will undoubtedly be interpreted by rivals and allies alike. Adversaries may see it as a sign of aggressive posturing or perhaps a defensive consolidation in anticipation of their own bold moves. This could trigger a new arms race, not just in conventional or nuclear weapons, but in economic warfare, with gold and other strategic resources at its center. Allies, on the other hand, might question the lack of transparency and wonder what it means for existing security and economic partnerships. Trust, already a fragile commodity on the international stage, could be further eroded, leading to a more fractured and dangerous world. The potential outcomes are numerous, and few of them are comforting. We could be witnessing the early stages of a deliberate decoupling from globalized financial systems, a retreat into economic fortresses. Such a scenario would devastate international trade and cooperation, potentially plunging the world into a new era of protectionism and bloc-based rivalries. The poorest nations would suffer most, but no country would be immune to the fallout. The dream of a truly interconnected and interdependent world, already under strain, could shatter completely, replaced by a grim reality of suspicion and zero-sum competition for resources and influence. The urgency of this situation cannot be overstated. While the gold itself sits silently in vaults, its acquisition screams a warning to the world. This is not business as usual. This is a sign that powerful forces believe the fundamental stability we have taken for granted is on the verge of unraveling. The critical question now is whether this preparation is for a storm that is inevitable, or if there is still time to steer the global ship away from the looming precipice. The silence from Washington on this golden horde is a heavy weight, pressing down on a world already holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next on this knife's edge of history.